Okay, so in this video we are looking at the evolutionary perspective of gender differences. Now, under evolutionary theory, stereotypical gender roles simply reflect evolution. Okay, evolutionary psychologists basically are arguing that modern gender roles are just modern adaptations of the traditional roles of men as hunters and fighters, and women as gatherers of fruits and vegetables and nurturers of children. Now, from this point of view, physical attributes such as like a strong upper body made men better at hunting and fighting. Men tend to have better visual spatial skills, which would have made them better at accurately shooting an arrow and finding their way home after hunting. And then on the other hand, women may have a genetic predisposition to be more emphatic and more nurturing because that allowed them to sense the needs of their babies and to take care of them. Now, having these traits in both men and women may have increased the likelihood that their offspring would survive, because you have the men being able to go and get food and being able to defend and protect their family, and women are able to meet the needs of those babies. And so over time, if the likelihood of their offspring is increased over time, those traits have then been passed on from generation to generation. So basically, evolutionary psychologists believed that having certain traits as a man or a woman that were adaptive for our ancestors during a time when they really had to work to survive may have been passed down genetically to modern humans. Now, the evidence, one of the main forms of evidence for this is differences in aggression, particularly physical aggression. Boys are much more physically aggressive. Even as children, they engage in more play fighting. Even as young as 17 months, you see more aggression in boys compared to girls. And as adults, you see many more men in prisons for violent crimes than you do females. Now, girls do still show aggression, but it is usually relational aggression, meaning they use relationships as a means of hurting others. So, for example, excluding friends from groups, starting rumors, trying to hurt the way a person looks socially in whatever way they can. So, a big question around this topic is whether men are more physically aggressive and women are gentler and more cooperative by nature or nurture. Now, one of the main contributing factors seems to be testosterone. Okay, so even though men produce a lot more testosterone than women, both men and women do produce testosterone. And what researchers found is that higher levels of testosterone in both men and women is linked to more aggressive behavior. So even women, if they have higher levels of testosterone, that seems to be associated with more physical aggression. That does not mean that higher levels of testosterone are the determining causal factor in aggressive behavior, but it is contributing. It does play a big role in how physically aggressive a person is. And that is supporting this nature argument, this biological factor differentiating physical aggression in men and women.